G'day fellas and welcome to the very first casted game of Season 5. We're finally here in Season 5. I tell you what, it took some time to get here, but finally we're here, and boy oh boy, I'm sure we've got a banger of a game today, because spawning in on this north side of the map in the color green, playing as the Ottomans, we've got ATXM. And on the south side of the map in the color red, playing as the English, we've got Crackety here. Now, I would love to be able to zoom in on these two players and their town centers, but unfortunately that bug wasn't fixed, even though it was reported, you know, what was it, 2 months ago? But look, we start off strong today with you know, I just want to be able to zoom. Just give me the option to zoom. It doesn't feel like an introduction unless I've got to zoom. But anyway, we have got two civilizations that have received a raft of changes. So today, hopefully, we're going to be getting a look at some of those changes. Now, for anybody unfamiliar with these two players, ATXM, I'll tell you right now, I had to look him up. He's a Conqueror 3 player, so Crackety's going to be in for a bit of a difficult time today. If you haven't already checked out Crackety, I'll leave a link in the description, and take a look at the start that he's gone for here. Has gone for a survival techniques opening, has gone over onto the deer here. Of course, the map is Altai for anybody who did miss it. This map known for the ability to trade. I guess you've always got access to this trade post in the back. It's a very safe trade as well. So we may see Ottoman trade out today. That could be an option. I don't think we will see English trade though. But one of the things that we might see is the brand new Abbey of Kings. Now, I say the brand new Abbey of Kings, like, you know, it's been given a brand new wrap on the outside. It's a new blue. It's not really. It's not. There's no new coloring to it. Basically, they just made it so the king is slightly cheaper, and the king now heals himself, which is actually pretty cool when you think about it, because now all of a sudden the English have got a French knight that heals itself, and you don't have to pay for the chivalry upgrade, and it heals all of its friends nearby, which is pretty cool. I do like that change. I think it's really good. They've also reduced the cost down from, it used to be 120 gold, 120 food. Now it's down to 100 food, 100 gold, and I think they're just going to keep reducing it. It's like, it's one of those items that are just on sale, and it doesn't matter how, you know, how many people walk past this item. They're just going to keep reducing the price until people start buying it. So hopefully we see that today. Crackety about to click up. Let's see what we've got, Crackety. Don't you dare give me a council hall, Crackety. Not on my birthday. It's not really my birthday, but not on my birthday. Not like this. Crackety, where are we going right now? There it is, the Abbey of the Kings. We do see it. It is coming here. It is alive. I would zoom in on it and get you guys a nice little view here, but as you know, I can't do that. But let's check in over on the north side of the map as the Twin Minaret Madrasa is coming down here for ATXM. Now, this landmark has also been changed. I think technically you could call it a nerf. I probably wouldn't call that. I would more say, no, to be honest, it is a bit of a nerf. Basically, the way that the berry spawns, so they're more staggered. So before it was like a berry spawn would happen every 12 seconds. From when you would complete your landmark, it'd be like berry spawn 1, and then 12 seconds later berry spawn 2. So you could kind of front or like backload your food gathering, and you could just spam out a whole bunch of villagers onto the berries. And remember that those berries do gather faster as well, 50% faster. So in the early game, if you've got, say, 6 villagers gathering those berries, because normally only 4 can fit around one bush, then that 6 becomes like the equivalent of 9 villages, which is kind of crazy. So always looking to utilize that. But I guess also it's kind of been, I wouldn't necessarily say nerfed, because it's also a bit of a buff in a way as well, because now you just put 4 villages on the landmark and you never look back. And it should work out perfect that those 4 villages will just stay on that landmark forever. But let's take a little bit of a look back towards the base here for ATXM. Look at this. You've got a classic Bronze League mining camp coming out right here, minimizing the walking, or minimizing the resources expended. But this is a very good position. He actually lands both the stone and the gold on the back here. A little bit dangerous if there's any risk of, say, a raid coming through. And speaking of raids coming through, 4 minutes 15. Crackety here, a little bit behind on where he should be, but there's the king coming out. Actually, no, I take it back. He's got 200. He had 200 gold in the bank. So what does he look to follow this up with? Because we got the Abbey of Kings in. Here she is. I guess we should say here he is. He's back once again, looking to come through. And military school's coming up. So obviously the military school gets saved until the feudal age, just because you've only got access to the spearmen in the dark age. It doesn't really make sense to be going spearmen against a civilization that has access to the council hall. Not that he's going to make the council hall in this game, but it is always an option. And look at this. Do we have is this? Oh my god. You know what I'm feeling? What if you played this like a Marine Lord opening? You know the Marine Lord opening where he goes for all the tier 1 upgrades and then goes into 3 TCs? What if you did that with the king as well? Because now the king is out. You've got that kingly aura. Remember that kingly aura. Kingly presence, as it's called, which is going to be healing. What does it say? Healing up by 2 every 1 second. Yeah, okay. I thought it said by 1 every 2 seconds. I was like, excuse me. Did you get nerfed when I wasn't looking? But we do see a bit of a difficult base building coming out right now for ATXM. I would have preferred to go to the front, even though it sucks building military schools on the front. At least you've got all this space out here to get your stuff down. You can see it's a little bit cramped back here, but look at this. We've got the king on the back line, going to be coming in, looking to try and hit out that stone. We're right on board with ATXM, and he does indeed spot this out. So that spearman that was in queue, I'm not sure whether he actually went through with it or not, but he is going to be able to force those gold villagers off the gold vein for the moment. We can see the scout on the backside as well. Barrack's going to get thrown down. It is within the radius of the blacksmith as well, so fortunately, he just keeps this one underneath the town center. But, I mean, you're already forcing out that response from your enemy already just by making them get that barracks. But look, we got the knight now beginning to charge in towards that builder. Doesn't manage to find the kill. It looks like that villager will get through to the town center. I take it back in the blink of an eye. That bad boy got eliminated. 3 hits and it was down. So not quite the 2 hits of the French knight. So still, some people I'm sure would say, well, that's perfectly balanced. And I'd probably be one of those people. But now we do begin to see the first of the upgrades coming through, looking for that hardened upgrade. Let's check back in over on the other side of the map and see how Crackety is doing. Crackety now looking for that second town center, stacking up a lot of gold. This is a little bit curious that Crackety's stacking up gold like this. You know, one of the things I often talk about when I'm coaching on my Patreon is whenever we want to go for things, we should be going for them and really aiming for them and going all in on those. And look, now you can see that king coming through with the aura. So what do I mean by that? I mean, if you want to go for a town center or a second town center, then what you do is you go for that king straight away and then immediately into the town center. You don't mess around with, you know, getting a little bit of gold, because you can see Crackety's gathered up 300 gold, but he hasn't spent it on anything. He didn't go any tier 1 upgrades. It looks like he's just sort of posturing towards Castle Age, which is absolutely fine. Don't get me wrong. But normally you'd want to try and front load the other resources, get that TC down slightly faster. And I'm confident we'll see this time come down. I'm curious, does this become the standard opening? Do we actually start to see people playing the English like the French? Because you think about the French, right? What is the most common opening that you see out of them? It's 1 knight into 2 TCs. English is English becoming the new French when you think about it like that? Because I can genuinely see people just going king into 2 TCs, and then behind that, I mean, you don't have access to knights though, so it does make it a little bit harder. So I'm not as tempted to stay in the feudal age as long as you would with the French, because you got to remember, a lot of the weaknesses that civilizations typically have in the feudal age, the French don't have those weaknesses, just simply because they have the knight. You throw me some men-at-arms, fine, I got the knight. You throw some knights at me, fine, I got my own knights. You know what I mean? Like, they are covered in all aspects of their defense or on their offense. So, you know, you want to go for trade, that's fine. I've got my knights, right? Like, they've got mobility, they've got power, and I think that's what makes them so strong in the feudal age. So maybe we don't see that. Maybe they're not the new French in that regard, but definitely I wouldn't be surprised if we do see this big eco coming out from them more often. You know, English has always been about that eco game. But now back towards that backside of the base. We do see the numbers starting to build up now for ATXM. Have a look at this. We've got absolutely massive amounts of production getting thrown down here. Double, triple archery range actually going to be coming up here as well. And this does get scouted out by Crackety. And you can see it looks like he might be heading towards a castle age. Just judging by the macro at the moment, 10 vils on gold is a lot of vils on gold. So I think he probably wants to get his ups and then go castle. That's the most common thing that you see English players do when they've got that many vils on gold. 10 vils on gold's a really nice amount as well, because as you drop off the gold, you get the upgrade, because it's 100 gold. You know, they're dropping off 10 each, and there's 10 of them, so they drop off 100, and then you just click the upgrade. Oh man, there's nothing sweeter than that. Except maybe my wife. She's a bit sweeter than that. Oh, what a sweetheart, Drongo. Oh, settle down, mate. Settle down. She doesn't even watch your videos anymore, mate. You know what? My mum does. You know what? I take it back. Mum, you're the one that's sweeter than that. You know what? My wife would hurt me. You guys are both sweeter than that. Anyway, let's move on. Let's move forward, because we've got a king that's being chased away by a Sipai. But just remember, he does have that kingly aura. If he feels the need to go and do any sorts of repairing himself. And we can see the gate now going to be coming up on the backside. I mean, the king could just turn around and fight the Sipahi, but then the Sipahi's faster, so you can't really do that. But we got the shotgun coming out from the town center right there. Look at the damage that's getting thrown down. And the king's palace, of all landmarks, going to get thrown down here for Crackety. He says, you know what? 2 town centers wasn't enough for me. I'm thinking a 3rd TC. Now, I don't know whether he knows about the rams that are coming down, but surely he knows that something is up. When you scout the enemy base and you see that blacksmith and you see those rangers coming up, surely you know there is going to be an all-in heading your way. So I would be tempted to say this is a bit dangerous from Crackety, a little bit bold. He's already on the 2 TCs. You know, you could have thrown a white tower down right here. You've got your farms in the back ready to come down. Not that he's got the farms. I mean, he's not even on berries. What's he on? He's just on sheep completely. Have a look at that. It's 21 vills just on sheep at this point. That's a huge amount of villagers that are still working towards it. And we can see that king does come back, heading towards the Abbey of Kings. And the scout's going to come out, spots the 2 battering rams. Our timing now at 10 minutes. Not the fastest of battering rams, but I'm confident this is still going to be a pretty decent push. Now, he needs to throw 10 vills into the town center, begin working down those archers, and at the same time bring these food villagers down to start sieging down the battering rams. Also look for the textile upgrade, which he's already picked up. So now we can see he's got those villagers inside the town center. These guys are going to be mainly focusing on killing these units, but if they get too close, you can see what he's doing is positioning the villagers so he can pop out the other side. It's exactly what he does. Beautiful defense coming through. He's got to be careful not to lose the villagers out from the archers. You can see the archers are looking to try and pick them off. He needs to pull vills down to repair as well. Men-at-arms going to be coming out. You can see more vills coming in from the north side. Crackety here looking to defend this ram all in early on in the game. And remember, ATXM isn't technically all in. He's still got that eco behind this. He's still got those military schools behind this. And the vills now just going to be looking to chase the battering ram. He's going to be able to take out a couple of villagers. We can see already he's worked his way up to 7 worker kills. But with that, the second battering ram goes down. And ATXM is going to have to head back to the drawing board because his enemy is on 3 town centers. He's only on the 1, and he just got castle age. And this is where it starts to get tough because those men-at-arms, they're out and they're angry. You can see that only 5 damage comes through on those archers compared to the men-at-arms with the 4 armor. And this is where things get a little bit spicy for the Ottomans, for the Ottoman player, because he needs to get castle age. There's no way he deals with this in the feudal age. It's just, I mean, I say that, but the Sipahi did also get a change, so maybe I got to take that back. Remember with the Sipahi, and in fact, the meta got changed as well, only 160 health now in the feudal age. Does go up to 180 in the castle age, and then up to, I think it's 200 in the feudal age. Meta, meta, meta. No, you can't just taunt the Englishman like this. This is, no, poor meta. What are you doing, sir? Get back there with your drums. And unfortunately, the meta does go down. But we do now see the farms starting to come up here for Crackety. He's a little bit idle on the food count. In fact, we can just switch it over right now. We're at the 12-minute mark and see exactly what's going on. But I feel like attacking with 2 rams is just so much worse than attacking with the 3rd ram. That 3rd ram really buys you so much power. But now, speaking of power, look at that. As the king comes out, keep in mind he's got his upgrades now because he's technically a castle age king now. So he gets those shadow tech upgrades, and the men-at-arms come out. Looking to dish out the damage here against ATXM. We'll check in on his side of the map shortly. I want to see whether he's still producing units, and it does look like he is producing units, so no real sign of an age up coming through just yet. And I think that's a little bit of an oversight. But by the same token, this is a bit of a tough spot, right? Like, you've gone for a battering ram all in. You're up against 3 TCs. Now, granted, he probably doesn't know about the 3rd TC, but I'm sure he can suspect it, right? Like, your enemy's castle age. He's playing English. You haven't seen the white tower down in your face, basically. Because normally, if they're putting a white tower down, it goes between the main town center and the expansion town center. So, unfortunately, you don't get to see it there. But so far, I mean, the defense from Crackety has been solid, and now we can start to see he's accelerating away. We've talked about it this entire game, those additional town centers, going for the 3 TC here, and now it's going to start to pay off. Even though he lost 9 villagers, you got to remember that town center produces a villager every 3 villagers every minute. So you got 3 of them. That's 9 villagers a minute that are coming out here. Compare that over to the enemy, and it's starting to get tough. So I feel like there's one real option for ATXM to stay in this game. Get to castle age and start trade. I think that's the only real way to do it. You don't do the trade trick anymore. Just put your markets down in the corner and just begin your trade. Get your trade bags out. Go into a big crossbow mass. Start walling up slowly and steadily. And you've got to play for the late game. Look for your new great bombard emplacements. Remember that you've got access to that. But, I mean, if you're trying to kite away from these men-at-arms, you're going to have a tough time. You're doing 2 damage a shot right now. You can see that he does have the... I was going to say he did have the attack speed on. Actually, does he have the attack speed on? Yeah, he does have the attack speed on. So he's attacking slightly faster. But look at the king running in right now. Watch out, ladies and gentlemen. He is angry. He is mad. He is a king, and he is... I guess he's on board a cow. I was going to say on board a cow, but that is not a cow. And now the MIA going to start coming up. Definitely the right play here for ATXM. needs to start moving into those crossbows immediately. He's got the resources for a couple, so I'd be looking to rush this landmark up. He's got 6 vils on the landmark. I'd be saying those are rookie numbers. I reckon you probably want to be throwing about 16 vils on this bad boy immediately. Get that MIA start ticking as well. Not that you really... Do you even look for a Mangonel in this matchup? Maybe? I think a Mangonel can make sense, but you're up against men-at-arms. Maybe? Yeah, I guess Mangonel. For me, the big thing is, though, walls, right? Like, we need to start walling, and we need to start that crossbow mass. It's really, really important. We just want to start taking control of the map. Because your enemy's going to be booming, and you can see, like, it's kind of going crazy at this point, which is why we need to start that trade. So we need to secure that trade. At least that's the only way I can really see back into this. I mean, anything short of that, I can't see how ATXM can possibly stay in this. Wheelbarrow going to be coming through for him now. He does spawn out Crackety's landmark, so he does see all 3 town centers, knows that he's behind on the eco right now. So let's see if he actually realizes he's out here. You know, I often think of it as like a, you know, if you've ever played poker, and you'll be very familiar with the concept of outs, and, you know, the cards that you could draw to potentially win the match. And that's what I'm thinking right now from the perspective of ATXM is like, what are my outs right now? And I feel like your only out here is like wall up, crossbow, and trade. And now he's going to walk in all of his units to the men-at-arms. ATXM not paying attention at all. Oh my lord, all of the archers now going to be going down. You ideally want to keep them alive because it does give you a little bit of bulk in these armies. Let's head back towards the base and see if he's got the crossbows beginning to come out, and you can see that he's got them all in queue right now, which is wonderful to see. Once he builds up that critical mass, he'll be okay. But then you risk... Oh my lord, look at the number of men-at-arms here. This is the importance of the walls. The walls really come in clutch right now, because if you've got a gate somewhere that you can, you know, set up camp, it's going to prevent what's about to happen. And what is about to happen is all these men-at-arms are going to start running through your base in all different directions. You're not going to be able to control it. You're not going to be able to stop it from happening just because those walls. And I would also say a little bit of a delay on that age up. So I think had that age up come in a bit faster, it would have been a different story. But at this point, Crackety here is just taking a page out of Beastie Cutie's book, and he's just spamming men-at-arms. And now we've got that rampage run through. The run-bys are happening right now. I feel like I'm watching a game of Beyond All Reason. The run-bys are happening right now. This is looking like my base after 15 minutes right now, but just a complete cleanup on aisle 3. Men-at-arms, absolutely nothing to even contest them. He's got 37 men-at-arms still on the field at the moment. I reckon, does he have his armor cladding in? He does. He's got his armor cladding in. No critical mass of crossbows, and that's going to be a good game, ladies and gentlemen. I think that's just about it. I don't know where the tap out is. You can see a couple of knights coming out, but surely the tap out is any second right now. This guy's got to be wearing a shirt that says tap out on it, and he's going to be tapping out, and there it is. There it is. There it is. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Season 5. We are here. The match is completed, and we made it through. Let me know, what do you reckon? How's it looking so far? I'm liking it. I'm liking it so far. I'm liking the king. I'm liking the Abbey of Kings. Let me know what you think. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Make sure you check out Crackety. Goodbye.